We shift our focus to this story now. Newly appointed MMC for Group Corporate and Shared Services, Sithembiso Zungu, has found himself at the center of a hawks extortion investigation dating back to 2018. Now, Zungu, who was appointed MMC on the 7th of August, reportedly received payments from contractor CityDev Construction while the contractor was building houses in Lehae, Johannesburg. Now, the fees were reportedly facilitation or protection fees paid at the time when Zungu was chairman of the Vlakfontein Business Forum. Allegations have also since surfaced of involvement in the stoppage of a 135 million school refurbishment project. This is at the Inkululeko Ye Sizwe construction. Now, the MMC has refuted all allegations of extortion, stating that he was appointed as a social facilitator by the contractor at Lehae and also stepped down as chair of the business forum when he was elected as an ANC councillor in 2019. Now, yesterday we had a broader conversation on difficulties faced by contractors in construction. Now, this is due to the never-ending stoppages as a result of demands for subcontracting roles or payment of protection fees. We indicated on air yesterday that the team was reaching out to the MMC on the damning allegations. He accepted our invite and joins us in studio this afternoon to give us clarity or his version. Good afternoon, Mr. Zungu. Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Good afternoon, Fundo, and greetings to your viewers.
No, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Very damning allegations. And all of this brought about by CityDev. There's been an affidavit that they deposed to stating that they were being harassed. And you indicated that you were a social facilitator at the time hired by CityDev, and that it was also revealed that there was monies paid to you. Just give us clarity on exactly what was the nature of your relationship with CityDev Construction when they were building houses in Lehae.
No, thank you, Fundo. Let me appreciate the opportunity, and I would have wanted this long time ago, because I thought this is just a small matter, and it is a small matter, because I've given context to it before, and I would have thought maybe we've closed it, but it keeps coming back. Let me start it this way. My relationship with the CityDev dates back to 2017. I am not a councillor by then, I'm just a member of the public. I do business as well. And it was still Councillor Ace Mokonyana, who sadly passed away. May his soul rest in peace. And I was then appointed as a chairperson of the business forum of that particular ward, Ward 122. And luckily then there was this project that at the time was introduced. Councillor Ace was part of that introduction, and myself and members of the public, not just a member, members. Over 200 members of the business forum who were part of this that meeting. I then started working with the CityDev. I've got track emails in place when we started the engagement with CityDev. They knew that I was the chairperson of Ward 122. Then there's another chairperson from another ward, because we're sharing the project. It's two wards, Ward 8, Ward 122. The relationship is superb. It's actually great.
So what role were you occupying? Were you then the social facilitator, which is equivalent to a community liaison officer? What was the role that you occupied?
When I started, I was doing supply of materials. I've shared that with the News 24, these invoices and everything, but I think they've ignored it. I was doing the supply of materials. Later on, then we were then appointed as facilitators. The two of us, the chairperson from this both wards, 2017. We then took over from that time until 2019, when I'm now appointed as a ward councillor of Ward 122. But in between 2017 and 2019, we've got a great relationship with Paris Techman, the owner of CityDev.
Yes.
We speak almost 5 times a day. We share messages. I visit his offices quite often, because we had that relationship that was very intact. And along the way, when I'm now appointed, then there's that narrative that now I'm the ward councillor. I don't know if maybe Stachman was tricked in believing that maybe if I'm a councillor, I'm going to cause problems and whatnot. And because at some point he did say to me that some of your comrades have said to me, I must go and report you to Chief Whip that you got money. So I'm saying to him, but what is wrong if I'm paid? I'm not a public rep. Because
you were saying at the time you were a supplier. Yes. And what has become something that is somewhat of a norm is that there would be policies that if there's a contractor operating in a certain community, at times there would either be a policy where it's requested that empower the people of that community.
Yes.
Be it in the form of them supplying,
100%.
Whether it is equipment, or beyond that, it can even be their own skills.
100%.
If you've got semi-skilled, or those that would just be seeking general work
100%.
type of, they offer just those kind of skills. In that instance, there would have been that policy. So you're saying that you were receiving monies from CityDev, not for facilitation fees, but for supplying them, because you were a supplier for them.
Initially, it was for supply. And then later on, we're taken on now as facilitators. Then I get paid monthly 10,000 rand. Lousy 10,000 rand monthly.
And when you are facilitators, yes, what would be that role?
So
what do you do?
Mine is to facilitate between the contractor and the local people. I think we had about 40 contractors on site that were working, and about maybe 50, 60 laborers working at CityDev site. That is my facilitation between the contractor, and whenever there's issues, I am contacted as person who's responsible. And he's there. Mr. Stekman knows it very well.
Now, Mr. Stekman then goes on to file an affidavit. He deposes to an affidavit indicating that he's being harassed. He's now running out of funds because there's constant extortion, there's stoppages of work. How does that come about? Because it seems after that, you guys then, I'm not quite sure how many of you, but in that instance, after he disposed to that affidavit, there was a violation of a protection order where he says you went to specifically those premises and disrupted. You
see, I have always wanted to challenge that. After that, I never went, not even once went to that site. I think I was, my only sin was that I was leading the community. Whenever there's issues, I am included. And I think the only challenge is that when this court order came out, we never really took it seriously. We never even challenged it until it went on and on. At a later stage, we then went and we had that discussion between myself, the lawyers of CityDev, and the lawyers of ours. And that matter was squashed.
Then in comes the Hawks. We understand that there's an investigation.
I'm coming to that.
They go to the municipality. They indicate that they want certain information. They're investigating you for extortion and links to construction mafias.
Yes. Okay, I want to put it this way. When I leave the business forum as chairperson, I now go to councillor. I declared my interest in the city of Johannesburg, that I'm the business person at the same time. Remember, if you're a councillor, you are a part-time employee of the city. You can do business outside, but you have to declare your interest. I did that. And it's there in the city of Johannesburg that I declared in 2019 when I came in. I came in I think it was June, July, somewhere there. That I'm a business person, I declared my interest. But now, the biggest issue in Mfundo is that why confuse things that happened before my councillorship and the things that are happening now?
But if there was any element of criminality, at least allegations of criminality, it wouldn't matter when they were committed, right? It's immaterial if you're a councillor or not. So insofar as the Hawks investigation, they would still continue. Okay,
let me put it this way. Mr. Stekman is the person who pays me, but he's not opened a case with the Hawks. A person who opens a case is another person, a member of the ANC in my ward. Mr. Stekman has not opened a case. You can go and verify yourself or investigate yourself. I don't have any. Mr. Stekman has submitted a interdict against us. But
yes, not to disrupt.
Yes. So there's two matters here. There's a court order, then there's a matter with the Hawks. The matter with the Hawks is not Mr. Stekman. It's another person, the member of the ANC in the ward. Yes.
Now, in all of this, you are MMC for a very critical portfolio, which is central to procurement. And at a time like now, when we have been hearing even from the president that South Africa needs to turn into a construction site, there are funds that have been set aside to ensure that we embark on this massive infrastructure build program because it's the only way to revitalize our economy. It would be important to allay fears of citizens that as heading such a critical portfolio, is such a man to be trusted if there are investigations such as these ones?
I think I've been hard done, Mfundo. This is, I think, you know, when they speak of a storm in a teacup, this is exactly the case here. And I can tell you, I've said I'm waiting for a day when Hawks will charge me, and I want to know what is the charge about. If I'm paid monies, and it's willingly so and voluntarily so by the contractor, no extortion whatsoever. I repeat in this platform. Mr. Stekman has never opened a case against me of extortion. It's not there. You can go and verify with the Hawks.
It was just a protection order.
Protection order with Mr. Stekman. The other matter is another separate matter, and I can assure you, there's nothing there. I can assure you the rest, there's nothing there. Absolutely nothing.
Let's oscillate between your two roles. Please do indulge us here. We want to put now on your ANC cap.
Yes.
There have been those that have said if these allegations were out there, why was he then elevated? He then becomes MMC. But you're indicating now that you have not been charged by the Hawks.
Yes.
And the policy within the ANC is that you only step aside
100%.
if you are charged.
I have said this previously, and I'm saying it again here on TV. If I am charged, I'll step down. But I think it becomes wrong when there's a narrative out there that is pushed by particular people without digging deep and finding out, is it true or not? I feel that the News 24 has not done justice in this matter. I shared so many with the journalists, but he ignored everything that I shared with him. And I can tell you, the time will come where I'll be cleared.
But your version was put out there even on those articles, whether it be News 24, Daily Maverick, everything that you have indicated that you were a social facilitator, you had resigned at some point as Business Forum chair, all of that was there. So all your objections were expressed, you refuted the allegations, it's all there. Even we've repeated that you have refuted those allegations, saying there was no extortion. But just in closing, this aspect of business forums. When speaking to Professor van der Heever yesterday, and even just the role of a social facilitator, some say this is a veneer for corruption, that there should be no go-between between the community and contractors. If a contractor comes into a community, let them work, there needs to be no go-between, because that person can then introduce a level of corruption that if they're going to facilitate with the community, sometimes it's not even ordinary community members that get to benefit. Maybe they would pick those who are aligned to a specific political party, leaving others who also want to be general workers. So what is your view on just this role of a social facilitator and even a business forum in certain communities?
You see, I want to speak about my role, and I've got witnesses. I've empowered so many people in that particular ward, even before I became a councillor.
From across political lines?
Yes, across. They can testify. You can come do your walkabout in the ward. You can see where I lead. I lead very well. You know, people are shocked about what's happening here. You know, thinking, Mr. Zungu, we know you very well. We know how you lead. You know how you've led us. And it's just, you see, when someone is blown out of proportion, this is the case here. You know, and Mfundo, I hope and wish that one day I'll get a chance to be cleared. Someone must apologize to, because I feel like I've been hard done. I want to address the issue of the school. You touched it.
Yes, the 135 million refurbishment
that one is
they
just
say you were part of stopping.
You know, it's straight gossip. This one is just a straight gossip. You know, in this case, I am the one who's pushing for the school to be completed. The contractor is fighting with the department. They're terminating his services. I am the one who's saying the kids are learning in a classroom that is just not right for the kids. Why can't you just push that the school is finished? But the sad part is that the contractor is never interviewed. The department is never interviewed, but there's an allegation that the project was stopped. How so, if no one was interviewed? Where do you get that mandate to actually speak and say the school was stopped, which is pure lie, pure lie. And the last one is the issue of the Lone Rock in Golden Highway. Ferrell Havaji called the CEO. I gave him the number of the CEO of Lone Rock, Mr. Godfrey. Mr. Godfrey calls me, says, no, Chief Whip, I was still the Chief Whip by then. Delivery called me, they want a meeting with me. I said to them, they must call you so that it's the three of us. No one says this, so that we are able to do away with lies. So many distortion in this whole thing, Fundo. But I want to repeat, if I am charged, I will step aside. But I cannot be charged through a court of public opinion. It cannot be correct.
Because we understand that insofar as the Hawks are concerned, a decision is yet to be made as to whether to charge or not. But Mr. Zungu, thank you very much for the decision to come here upon us extending our invitation, coming to at least give us clarity on what exactly is happening and the status of that specific case.
Fundo,
thank you very much.
Lastly, I am innocent, very innocent. I will come back here again and you will ask me again about it. Thank you very much. All right.
That's MMC for Group Corporate and Shared Services, Sithembiso Zungu there, just setting the record straight on his side, adamant that he's innocent.